Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Amateur Hour Sport for today's off-season off-season live stream. We're here today to do a little bit of discussion surrounding the NBA draft a little bit, talk about some of the decision making the Toronto Raptors could be taking on. We're going to be discussing a little bit of the trade market and just what's going on with the Raptors at this present point. And along the way, we'll answer any questions you guys may have, and we'll just have some fun with it. We got about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour of me here today. And yeah, I'm excited to be back. It's I think every stream now we start by me apologizing for not streaming very much. I think it's been 2 weeks since I last streamed here. The issue is I basically have one free night a week to stream, and that is Tuesday night. And since that's like my only like free night, if something else has to be scheduled for me to do or planned for me to do, it like almost always has to be then Tuesday. Not that I don't like you guys, but this is the most movable thing for me or cancelable thing for me. So unfortunately, if plans have to arise, it has to happen on a Tuesday, essentially. So I apologize for that. But I stream as much as I can. It's not like I'm ever just sitting at home doing nothing. I'm happy to be here. So let's talk some ball today. We're turning into a little bit of like the Lakers lately, where if a player is available or like maybe available, then the Raptors are interested. Like the Raptors are seemingly interested in every player right now. There are so many rumors and reports being thrown out with the Toronto Raptors. So, we'll talk about pretty much every player the Raptors have been linked with. And we'll also be discussing, like I said, some NBA draft decision-making for the team. Because the NBA draft is a week away. My goodness. 8 days away. It's not a week today. It's a week tomorrow. So next Wednesday, guys, I'll be live sitting right here to cover the NBA draft. And with all the noise around the Raptors, who knows? Like, could they make a trade beforehand? Could they make a trade building up to the draft? Could they be drafting a player with the idea of trading that player somewhere else? There's a lot of different things that could go on for the draft. Could promise to be an exciting one. Ultimately, as much as there's like a lot of rumors going around, I do think the Raptors will end up just simply selecting with the 9th overall pick. I've maintained that through all like the discourse I've had around the Raptors making a big trade. The Raptors, I've always maintained I don't think they'll trade up or down. More reports are suggesting that they are more interested than we thought in trading down. I've always maintained as much of all this stuff as possible. I think at the end of the day they're just going to run back the team and they're just going to draft with the 9th overall pick. That's just how I feel. Kind of the non-exciting answer, but I would never lie. That's just how I feel about it all right now. So, not ruling anything out, absolutely not. But we'll see how it all shakes down. A lot of things can change. How's everyone doing on a personal level? How's everyone doing? What you guys been up to? Anything interesting? I was out shopping for a suit today. If you noticed, the stream was originally supposed to be at 7:30, and I changed it to 6 o'clock, which is my preferred time for the streams just like this, because I thought I was gonna be out later than I was. It turned out I didn't really take super long to get the suit I needed, and yeah, I got a pretty nice navy blue suit. I'm in a weird state size wise where like I'm bigger than I was in high school when I bought a couple suits. Those suits like kind of fit, like I could make do, but I'm also a lot smaller than I was just a year ago. So I'm in a weird spot with like my clothes over the course of the last 5 years, where I'm too big for some and I'm too small for some. But anyways, I needed a new suit. I got a nice new suit. I went to a place, Tom's Place, in Kensington Market. And they hooked me up, and I didn't take too long. So we're back for the 6 p.m. stream today. That ended up working out. So many men, being an adult, living in Toronto. I know it's like my choice to get a new suit, but like just in general, there's all like you always think you're getting ahead. Yeah, I kind of need a new suit. I'm gonna be going to a wedding. I got 2 other reasons to wear a suit this year, so I'm like, just get one that fits nicely and don't have to worry about it, and don't gain don't gain weight again, and it'll just continue to fit you. Maybe the bigger it should be losing more weight, but I guess that's a good problem to have. But every time in Toronto, you feel like you're getting ahead financially. You just like something else comes along, and like you kind of just have to eat it, and you're like, fuck, completely resets. I am going away for the wedding, so I guess that doesn't help my savings, but whatever. After that, I gotta. There's some decisions that have to be made. Yeah, it was a decent suit. I haven't bought a suit since high school. That was a long time ago. That was 8 years ago. So yeah, it was probably about damn time I got a suit. I'm an adult. I gotta have a suit that fucking fits me. So I got it done. All right. Let's say what's up to the people in the chat. We see Nick Killer, Reggie Miller, Thomas Perry, hopefully enjoying the NBA Finals. Reggie Miller been in attendance with some questionable fashion choices, might I say, for the games. So, for starters, listen, I'm a big advocate. And I'm just talking about this because we have Nick Killer with the Reggie Miller profile for one of our amazing 12-month members, Thomas Perry. I'm a big advocate. Listen, if you're at a playoff game, put the fucking shirt on. Like, there should not be any sort of discussion that takes place there. You're at the NBA Finals. Put the damn shirt on. I don't understand how you could possibly, especially, these two teams, because these two teams are great. You got 90% of the crowd in the shirt, and it looks fantastic, especially, Game 5, the Thunder. They had, every section. It was, blue, then white, then blue, so it looked really cool, but, the Pacers in the yellow. Yellow seems to look so good for the playoff shirts. It just sticks out so much. It's so bright. It's so visible. I think it does so much to add to the atmosphere of the playoff game. And I do think I honestly think, as visually, as much as that looks good, I think it adds to the audio atmosphere. Because I think the fans just get more engaged. I think the fans are more locked in with each other. I just think it makes the whole event much better. So, put the damn shirt on. I don't know how you can be a fan and show up to the NBA Finals, even a playoff game, but let alone the NBA Finals, and see everyone around you wearing the shirt and go, nah, I'm going to wear my blue Pacers jersey. So anyways, I'm on this rant because Reggie Miller has been at some games, and he's been wearing, the super thin hoodies with, the front tucked hoodie with a jersey over top with the hood still underneath the jersey. I don't know. For a man who probably still makes as much money as he does doing commentary and stuff, I don't know. I thought he could have dressed himself up a bit better, or he could have just put the fucking shirt on. No, put the shirt on. Even Reggie Miller. The only exception I'll make is that at Game 4, the Pacers right by, courtside, right beside their bench, there were 2 guys who were dressed in the orange and baby blue style, Dumb and Dumber style suits. I thought that was really funny, and I think that was my exception to the not wearing a shirt. If you're gonna wear something super, super cool like that, fine. You don't have to put on the shirt. Everyone else, put on the shirt. Who else we got here? We got Winner One joining us. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Reed Wensky. Tom Graham watching from Australia. Good morning to you in Australia. Gonna take a sick day to watch the draft. I think that's the right call. I think if you're on a casual fan level, which I don't think anybody. I think if you're in this chat, I don't think you are. But I think on a casual fan level, I could understand how on the outside looking in, you just look at the draft and think you just look at the results in the morning. No, like, or for you, like, just look at the results later in the day. But like for people like who, like, you say Eastern Standard Time, you stay up late to watch the draft. Like, why not just wake up and just look at the full list? Like, yeah, I guess, like, why not watch the basketball game and just look at the score in the morning? There's a lot of excitement and anticipation in the draft, and you learn a lot about, like, especially early picks, what a team wants to do. I just find so much entertainment in watching the NBA draft these days. I think it's awesome, and I absolutely agree that taking a sick day is the right way to go about that. Thankfully, I do have, unfortunately, believe me, I'm streaming. I do have a rec league soccer game on Wednesday, which I'm sad to miss. Thankfully, it is just a regular season game, so I can afford to miss. But I mean, I'll put it bluntly. My team is going to miss me for that game. We do not have a extraordinarily strong team. I'm a pretty good player, but NBA draft, I got to make the sacrifice and be here. I think NBA draft. Yeah, NBA draft is the single biggest day for the channel of the year. That is the number one day of the year. I think the number two day of the year is trade deadline day. But the NBA draft is the number one day of the year. But not just for the day, but for the build-up, the content in the build-up for the draft, the content after the draft. It is absolutely, positively the number one day for the channel. The live stream does typically, I mean, we'll see how this one does. Live stream typically does very strong numbers. The videos in the wake of the draft typically do very strong numbers. And typically the strongest videos in the channel come out of, viewership-wise, come out of the draft. So, big day for the channel. And hopefully things go well this year and I can bring some good content that you guys hopefully will enjoy. We have Seymour Kemp joining us, first time watching live. Well, hopefully you're enjoying. I really appreciate that. Hopefully you enjoyed the videos on the channel as well. What is that? Profile photo. I used to have like something that would blow up the photos, but I don't have that anymore because it's not compatible with coronavirus. Anyways, thank you for joining. Currently freeze my ass off at work this morning. Currently 4.5 degrees. Isn't that so strange? I don't know. It's just obviously that's normal for you, but like to have winter in what I would consider the summer months is that'd just be weird. That would just be really weird. But 4.5 degrees Celsius, that's pretty cold. It was hot. I mean, I walked like 40 minutes to get to the suit shop today, and then 40 minutes to get home. It was hot. Hopefully some exercise that I negated by but I don't know if you guys have this, but you guys should have this app. It's called Too Good To Go. You may have heard of it, but maybe you haven't. It's called Too Good To Go. So what it is instead of a shop throwing away food at the end of the day, they will post it on Too Good To Go in like these surprise bags, essentially, and you pay like, let's say a pizza shop, for example. I'd pay like $10 for a mystery box of pizza, and basically whatever stuff is left over at the end of the day, they'll throw a bunch of it in this box for me. So I'll usually be getting like, one time I got like a full, like really nice pizza and then 3 extra slices for like $10 at this nice pizza place. That was amazing. Today, anyways, I was out suit shopping and I was walking back. I'm like, hey, let's see. I was in a good area. I was in like Kensington, Dundas area. So let's see what's on Too Good To Go. And there was like a shawarma spot that was on there that had like a $5.99 surprise bag. So I was like, hell yeah. I like shawarma. $5.99. Let's see what I get. And I go in and the guy just made me a shawarma on the spot. So what would have been $10 shawarma for $6. Now, it's usually they don't make it there. It's just they have stuff left over and they give it to you, like, end of the day type of thing. Probably really good for like a westernized Chinese, where it's just like a bunch of like the meat and noodles left over in the day. They kind of fuck you up. But anyways, get Too Good To Go because you can get these really nice surprise bags. I tell you, it was really good for like bakeries. Really good for bakeries. Like if you have a Cobb's bakery near you, they give you so much food Now, you don't get to pick, but they give you so much food. It's so worth the price. Anyways, I would get that app, and I scored a nice shawarma on the way home, which was pretty good. Do I think we signed Kyle Lowry? Foyle says. I don't. I think at this point, Kyle Lowry's got a ring chase. I fully support him in his ring chase. I think that there's a good team out there that would see Kyle Lowry in value as a third-choice point guard who has that championship DNA, has that championship pedigree, has that winning mentality. I can see value in Kyle Lowry being on a team of that nature. Now, if there isn't, I would like the Raptors to be a team that signed him and say, hey, let's give you a vet minimum. Let's bring you back. Let's fire up the fan base. Let's allow you to be the mentor for guys in the team. I'd love that. And I think that'd be a fantastic way for him to close out his NBA career. But I think what would be better for him is to ring chase and get himself back to the playoffs, even if he isn't taking on that big role. If we had final-specific courts like in the NBA Cup, it would be cherry on top, to be honest. I agree completely with you, Seymour Kemp. Was it Sirmore? I read it wrong. Sirmore Kemp. It's absolutely a travesty that we don't have NBA Finals branding on the court. It just added so much. This is an overused word these days, but this is the correct use of this word. It just added so much aura to the occasion. Like, you remember watching like the Celtics-Lakers finals in 2008 and 2010. Man, like, was that not like peak experience of basketball? You have like two of the biggest franchises playing each other, or like you could even go back to like the Lakers' first three-peat and the branding there. Like, we're on the outside of the Jordan era, and teams are kind of fighting for new positioning. Like, the court looks so amazing. That, like, 2000 to 2010, that's sort of like the vibe that the NBA gave at the time was just fantastic. And it's such a shame how corporate it's become. I mean, why is there no NBA Finals branding on the court? Is it simply because they can't display like the AI ads in the court? They do that. If that's the case, it's a damn shame. It's tragic. It's truly tragic. At least both these teams have fan bases that wear the shirts and make it look like a finals game. But if they had fan bases that didn't, you would have no idea. It's such a monumental occasion. Dude, I don't even think the jerseys have the NBA Finals patches on them anymore. Oh, no, they do on the back. I digress. They do on the back. Anyways, would have looked way nicer with the courts for sure. Lottery's up there. Yeah, lottery day is a big day for the channel as well, especially when the lottery goes well for the Raptors, which it typically doesn't. But yeah, it is a good day. Hope we don't end the second round early like last year. Yeah, I mean, what am I gonna do? Last year the Raptors had the Raptors were done. We were at like pick 53. I'm like, yeah, what do I need to sit here and watch picks 54 to 60? Then as soon as I end the live stream, the Raptors trade back into the draft and eventually draft Ulrich Shamshay. Whatever. I mean, I didn't really miss. Look, I didn't miss much. I don't know what would have been different had I been there when they drafted Ulrich Shamshay. I do remember when the Raptors acquired Brandon Ingram, there was a game that night, and I did a watch along. And I'm like, stay alert. I might come back live if the trade's about to go down. I stayed up late, and then Shams was like, trade's about to go down, so I came live, and we had that. That was a good stream as well. So I try my best. I'm a busy guy, but I do try my best. I predict the Raptors draft Common Malawash or Derek Queen. I don't think... I'm not in love with Derek Queen. Common Malawash, if Common Malawash is available at 9, I will, like... If Common Malawash is available at 9, the Raptors are drafting him. I'm very, very confident. The only question is if he is available. If he's available at 9, I would be shocked. Shocked beyond belief. Beyond belief if the Raptors did not draft Common Malawash. I think that's their guy if he's available. And we're going to discuss the options if he's not available in just a second here. Jeremiah Fears would be interesting. I'm not sure he'll slip, though, but that's probably... They would strongly consider him if he was available. What team you're most intrigued in the draft outside of the Raptors? Like, in terms of, like, what the team could do in the draft? I mean, Brooklyn are a little bit interesting because they have the 2 picks later in the draft they could trade up with. Or is it 3, right? They have They have like 25, 26, 8. I think they have 19 as well or something. Let me check. Yeah, they have 19, 26, 27, and 8. So they could trade up. They could trade up a little bit. See, they do that. Raptors are interesting because they could even trade down. But I think Brooklyn's probably the most interesting team there. Garanjan Singh says, can someone sell me on Derek Queen? I just can't see it. I will ask the same question. Sell me on Derek Queen because I also don't really see it. Interior-oriented big who can't defend the rim. Not a very, fine perimeter, okay perimeter defender for a big, but, can't protect the rim, can't shoot threes, isn't athletic. I don't know. I'm not in love with the prospect. Caleb will be fine in the Mavs, I think. They could use some point guard help this year with Kyrie Irving out. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I could see that. I'm very surprised Pascal plus OG plus Sky plus Jakob did not work out. I guess they're 1 point guard away. Well, I think the issue of that kind of team was for starters, when they had Fred VanVleet, the team was pretty good. I think we forget. The season came down to one game. They shit their pants in the play-in tournament game and lost to the Chicago Bulls. I don't think any other way of putting it. They shit their pants. They missed so many free throws. They blew a 20-point lead. But the Raptors' record after the trade deadline was pretty good. It's just they had so much ground to make up to get into the play-in tournament. So I do wonder what that team would have looked like with Fred VanVleet, Siakam, Barnes, OG, and Pirtle if they had a full season together. But then the end of the season came, Fred VanVleet walked, very valuable player to lose, and they replaced him, one-to-one replaced with Dennis Schroeder. Then they brought in Darko. I don't think Darko coached that team very well. Dennis Schroeder had way too long of a leash. Dennis Schroeder had way too much usage considering the amount of talent around. I think Pascal Siakam was misutilized. If that Jakob Poeltl trade happened 1 year earlier, I think a lot would have changed. It's just a shame that they never provided that center to that team early enough to really convince them they were good. Because I think that team could have been good. And it is a shame looking at Siakam, especially now, but OG as well, and think, man, we had these guys together. We had all these good players. Why did it not work out for us? Upsetting. Anyways. Yeah, maybe a better point guard, but they had no way of getting it. It was a tough one. James and Battle about to add 50, 45, 9 next season. That's a lofty goal, but I'd love it. C4 season, what app was that for the college guys tune in for last first podcast? So it's called Too Good to Go. I believe it's one word, two TOO good, two TO go. It's an app. I don't know. I mean, in Toronto, it's good because there's so many freaking places on here. But even on other cities, even in other cities, this is everywhere. I mean, this is everywhere. Not quite as concentrated as Toronto, but essentially, end of the day, they've got a bunch of loaves of bread they haven't sold. Instead of throwing them out, you buy a surprise bag. Usually in the surprise bag, I would say a typical Cobb surprise bag, which would be $5. You'd get a loaf of sourdough, a loaf of white bread, and some pastries. That would be the standard $5 surprise bag. It's worth $10 to $15 easily. I'm gonna have sourdough and white bread. Nice little treat for the pastries. If you're in Toronto, even better. I mean, for Cobb's, it's great. I think that's the best. But for other places, it's just you get such good deals on there. It's just good. If you're ever hungry late night, just see what's on there and see if you grab something late. Or for really good places, you have to book it the day in advance. But yeah, play around with it. You get good stuff, really good stuff in Toronto. What will be the framework of a Malik Monk trade in your opinion? I don't know. Let's do it. Let's figure it out. I mean, this kind of has to be RJ, right? I really like Malik Monk. I really, really like Malik Monk, so I would very much enjoy a trade potentially happening here. I'd rather have Bryant if Malawash isn't on the board. Yeah, I probably would as well. Honestly, like Newell is even more interesting to me as a center than Derek Queen right now. I don't know. I'm just not sold on Derek Queen. If the Raptors drafted him, I wouldn't even not like I'd necessarily be upset. It's just be like they see something I don't, and that's fine. I support them, and obviously they know more than me, obviously, right? We should have made it to the finals in the bubble, then the East got better. Yeah, the Tampa season didn't help for sure. Siakam struggled. I mean, Siakam was really the biggest. I don't think there was a bigger that I'm aware of. I don't think there was a bigger NBA casualty to COVID than Pascal Siakam, because he came back from the lockdown and was just a complete shell of himself, which spilled over into the next season where he wasn't that bad, but he wasn't Pascal Siakam, and the Raptors just kind of fell off a cliff that season. They bounced back, rebounded hard the next year, 5 seed with Scotty Barnes, but never had a center, and that was kind of just a one-off sort of season where they finished really strong. I don't know. Clearly, Siakam has always been really good. I wonder what would have happened. I mean, I don't think they lose. They don't lose to the Celtics without the lockdown, because they took them to the last. They took them to the clutch of Game 7 with Siakam playing poorly and not having home court advantage, which they would have had. Right? I think they would have beaten Miami, because I think they're better than Miami. I think they're better than Boston. I think Boston are better than Miami and just lost them. I think they're better than Miami. I think they would have beaten Miami, especially with home court. No, Miami the 5 seed. Yeah, they would have had Miami. Well, I think maybe Milwaukee would have made it, to be fair. I don't know. I think it was really unfortunate, but it is what it is. It happened. All right, let's do this. Let's do this Malik Monk trade. Let's see. What would it cost? So 18. Wow. Gotta tell you, that's a great contract. I mean, yeah, it just has to be Barrett, doesn't it? I don't know how much a second round pick really helps us right now. We have a lot of players. Not the 9th pick. I mean, does it just flat out have to be another first? It probably does. Let's say 2027. Bet on ourselves to get better in a couple years. Need to cut 1 million. Terrence Davis. No. JV. Oof. Damn, they don't really have anybody on their roster here. Isaac Jones. Does that work? I mean, I would do Keon Ellis, but Keon Ellis is quite good. Yeah, I mean, probably have to be that, but also why would they want to do that? We'd have to make it really worthwhile to them. I don't know if that does it. So it's weird. If somebody can give me a better framework, please send my way. We can put it into place for Malik Monk. Did I do the RJ plus Yaka plus 9 deal? For Malik Monk? I think we're overpaying there. I'm assuming you don't mean Malik Monk. For KD. I haven't looked at the KD ones. Let's do it. Brian Bless says, you know what's going to happen, don't you? Masai's going to blow this horribly by waiting to pull the trigger and dumping Barnes for either Giannis Durant or Giannis. I just hope he's not procrastinating. I mean, reports are coming out suggest they are not procrastinating. They are very much trying to do this shit. I am I talked about it very briefly in today's video, which wasn't as much focused on the actual trades, more so focused on like the narrative around the odds around the trades and how annoyed I am by them. I am quite surprised that the Raptors are willing to move Pirtle, because like, who the fuck is going to play center if they trade the 9th pick and Pirtle? And I am just such a believer that the center is so vital to a team's success. What is this? A 1 cent coin? I already got that one. So okay. So yeah, basically like, okay, dump all the picks. So 25, 22. Well, actually, you can actually select the 9th overall pick, then trade it, and then also include the 26, 28, 29, 26, 28, 30 picks. But I don't imagine it will allow us to do that for Stepien rules. Let's see. This would be legal. Okay, so they do let you do that. This is legal as of the draft to trade consecutive picks, because they just don't let you trade them in advance. So then you trade the 30, the 28, the 28, the 30 to go with it. So it'd be probably 4 picks. I mean, you saw the market for Desmond Bane. This is what it would have to be. RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, probably 4 picks. KD's older, so I would not want to do that. 3 picks, and even then is like, that might be what you have to do. It's got to be 3 picks for KD. For me, I mean, people are gonna be worried about the contract. I'm gonna let you guys know right now. KD, if the Raptors trade for him, he's re-signing. I said this about Brandon Ingram. I'm like, if they are trading for Brandon Ingram, he's re-signing. They are not making this trade and then taking the risk of the player staying. They know this player will re-sign. Hence why they have pulled the trigger on the deal. So I'm not really worried about the contract. No guarantees, but they're going to be confident they're going to re-sign him. I just don't really like this trade. I think, again, you just completely crater your center position. You have no center to play with. No means of getting that center either, because you have no money. KD's 37 and has struggled to stay healthy the last few years. I don't see it. I don't really like it. The Raptors seem pretty convinced. I don't really see it, though. Do we think the Desmond Bane trade affects the market anyway? I mean, maybe a little. That's a good question, Jack Hannon. I don't think much, though. I think teams will recognize that they overpaid a little bit. And it was, Desmond Bane wasn't available, we have to remember. Like, basically, Orlando had to give so much to convince Memphis to trade a player that they really didn't want to trade. But they just moved so much that Memphis just probably went, geez, 4 picks. All right, fine, we'll do it. If he ends up getting pick 9 and they're going to like it, I just don't think that trade's going to happen. The office is packed to fire Masai. I don't think Masai's going to overpay here. Even if it's this, I mean, at least you have more picks to trade down the line and you can get a center that way. But where are you going to come up with the money, the tradable contract to do that? Like, you almost have to trade quickly in that scenario. Then you don't have a fucking point guard. I think this complicates a lot. This trade complicates a lot. And I don't think I'm prepared to risk our team's short term with Kevin Durant, who I'm not convinced will stay healthy. Is Devin for 3 picks plus 2 heavily protected that won't convey? Well, wasn't it 4 and then a swap? That's what was that was the reporting. I mean, 3 still feels pretty heavy. I swear it was 4. Granted, you caught me. I didn't dig too far into this, but we're looking for a third team to get a decent big, I'm assuming, back. That'd make more sense at least. We have 3 players who average 20 points, 2 players who average 15 plus. I think we play the first half of the season with our current roster and see how things are. Yeah, I mean, you can do that. Then it just becomes difficult to make that trade midseason. And it's what if you're at the halfway point of the season and you're not a playoff team and you're like, well, shit, this isn't working and now we can't be good. I ultimately I do think they're just gonna let it play out. I don't think they'll make a trade, but I would like to see what it. I agree. I would like to just see how it looks. I'd like to see how good the team looks. I just don't think it's really going to be a fantastic fit. I think it's still enough to make the playoffs, but I also think there is a reality where it just doesn't click and we kind of run into a bit of problems, you know? Yeah, Orlando saw a chance to get a really nice fit next to Paolo and Franz, and we're ready to pay up to do it. And they've got a young core that they can keep rolling with for a while. They also, I guess also part of the trade was they got off of a not-so-great Kentavious Caldwell-Pope contract, which, I mean, looked good when they signed him. It didn't look good after the season when Kentavious Caldwell-Pope didn't play very well, right? Four-plus swap. Okay, well, there we go. That's a lot. I like Bane. That's a lot. But like I said, Orlando said that's a great fit. Let's just get the guy we want. Worry about it later. Memphis said, we don't want to trade him, but goddamn, 4 picks, we kind of have to trade him. Because that's a really good deal. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, the picks aren't going to be great, but you're right. It's still it's a long time for picks. It's still a hefty trade. I mean, Raptors. I mean, people should look at the Raptors and think that respectfully, people should bet on like Raptors picks. I think down the line, should they not? I mean, like, kind of been a mess the last few seasons. Let's be honest. Might be a good bet. Raptors picks. See if anybody takes it on. Yeah, Devin Bane's a perfect fit, so they overpaid to get him. That's what I'm saying. They overpaid to get the perfect fit because they just wanted it to happen so bad. I don't have any issue with that thought process from the Orlando Magic. Absolutely not. And it should be better than the McHale trade. Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at this 9th pick, guys. Let's take a look at this 9th pick because a bit of noise has come out surrounding what the Raptors want to do with that pick. I mean, honestly, right now, there is a ton of noise coming out of the Raptors as a whole. Like, there's so much noise. Like, every player that's potentially available, the Raptors are interested. Every move that can be made, the Raptors are linked to it. There's some reporting there suggesting the Raptors are involved in some capacity. But now there's even some reports coming out that the Raptors are maybe looking to make a trade for the NBA draft. And this is in relation to the Raptors and their desire to go get a big. The Raptors want to go find a big man, it seems, with the draft. And Common Malawash is that player on the pedestal. That is the guy they want. And I said earlier in the stream already that if Common Malawash is available, they're going to draft him. I'm pretty confident in that. I think he's a great player who would be the best available at 9. And I think it'd be a fantastic fit at 9 as well. It's not about, I mean, listen, you draft talent over fit, but when one of the most talented players there is also a great fit, you go for that. And I think they will go for Colin Malawash. But a lot of people like Colin Malawash. I mean, you look at the state of the draft. This is just like a Tankathon mock draft I've already had open, but he's currently mocked at a Raptors at number 9. But the Wizards could decide to take him, move Sar out to like power forward. The Pelicans could decide to take him, make him the starting big. Nice tandem with Yves Missy. The Brooklyn Nets could draft him. He could either back up Claxton or they could trade Claxton. Raptors absolutely have a good spot for Colin Malawash coming off the bench. I don't think he's ready to start, so I think he'd be great coming off the bench behind Jakob Poeltl. So I really, really like Colin Malawash and the fit that's presented there. But like I said, there are teams ahead that could look at him. And even like some people have rumored for him to go or discuss the possibility of him going as high as 4 to the Charlotte Hornets, which I'm not as sold on. But like, yeah, a lot of teams are going to be interested. So what if he isn't available? What is the pivot for the Raptors? Because I don't know. I would like somebody, and please, in the chat, please present to me the case for Derek Queen, because he's personally not. I'm not sold. I'm not there on him. I struggle to see the adaptability of a big who is paint oriented on defense, who can't protect the rim, isn't great at defending in space as well. Not athletic, very unathletic, undersized. Like he's not really. He's like, you know, a little shorter than I guess I'd want my center to be. He's 6'9.25" without shoes. On offense, offensive hub passer, but can't shoot. Super paint oriented, so can't defend the rim, can't shoot. I feel like you have to have one of those as a big, and he doesn't, and it just scares me a little bit. And the fact that he's not athletic. Now, what would make him really good is if he's just an offensive hub. And he's just so good offensively that it masks all that bad stuff. And a player, like Phoenix mentioned in chat, a player like Domantas Sabonis is so talented offensively and can be such an offensive hub that it masks the problems that exist on the other end of the floor and the fact and a bit of the lack of space. He can kind of shoot, but like not a shooter by any stretch of the imagination. But he would have to be that good on offense to continue to be effective in the NBA, right? He just has to be so good, like Şengün. He's so good on offense, but he is also improving quite a lot on the defensive end. So you would have to bet on a lot of improvement to take place. And the issue is it just leaves such a low floor for Queen. His ceiling is there, but I don't think it's a super high ceiling. And I agree with Phoenix saying Domantas Sabonis caps your ceiling as a team. Because you do need either a center defending who's protecting the rim really well, or he's spacing the floor on offense. So like, you know, you've got Miles Turner for the Pacers. He's not a fantastic defender, but he's spacing the floor. He's giving a lot to the offense. And he can still kind of do his thing defensively. So for Queen, that type of player, I struggle to see that being somebody you can trust in the biggest games, which is why I'm a little bit afraid there. So the Raptors, I don't know if they see the same thing here, but with Malawash potentially not being available, they might be hell-bent on getting a center, and they could still decide to trade back a little bit and make a pick. There's reporting coming from Jake Fisher, who has turned out to be a very credible source of information when it comes to the Toronto Raptors. And it's aggregated here by Omer Osman, who does a great job with pulling Raptors information on Twitter. If you want to go follow him at Omer Osman 200. Toronto's number 9 is the most likely top 10 pick to be traded. Anticipation the Raptors will part with it has also been fueled by Malawash being drafted before the Raps get the chance. Word is the Raptors are evaluating 5s, would be available later in the first round. I've been told Danny Wolf and Austin Newell are 2 prime candidates. So, important notation here. I've seen this misreported. I've seen this misquoted. The most likely top 10 pick to be traded. Now, just because it's the most likely of the top 10 to be traded does not mean it is likely to be traded. I have seen people who have quoted this. So, the most likely top 10 pick to be traded, I have seen this reported as instead top 10 pick most likely to be traded. See how we can change around the words and make it mean something completely different? But it does showcase that there is at least some sort of buzz that the Raptors could move back in the draft. So what are the options for the Raptors to do that? Well, moving back in the draft, I think like the cost of moving back in the draft should be you're giving away a lottery pick, you get 2 picks later. So like the only team that can really do that, which is why I kind of see this as a little bit unlikely, is that the only really like if I'm not mistaken, there's not really any team that's doing this other than Brooklyn. I guess Atlanta could do it as well. Atlanta at 13 and 22. Does Atlanta go 13 and 22 for the 9th pick? They'd have to really love somebody at 9, which I'm not sure they do. Would Brooklyn go 19 and 26 to move up to 12 or to 9? Sorry, I think that's a lot more reasonable, and I think that's something that could stand to happen. And in the event it does happen, I don't know. Is Newell available? Is Danny Wolf available? I've seen them mocked higher. I've seen them mocked lower. For Danny Wolf, that's like I said it already. Is that like your offensive hub sort of center? Maybe a little bit. Good passer, good playmaker. He does turn the ball over a lot, but like you can work on that. It's clear that he reads the game very well and his decision making is good. It's just about the execution of doing that. It's decent candidate. Now for Newell, I like Newell a lot more. Big time athlete in the paint. Offensively, lob threat at the rim, good catch radius. I think that'd be an interesting one for the Raptors to use as a roll man on offense. Defensively, bit more ability to defend in space. He's athletic enough to be a bit of a shot blocker on defense as well. He's not like a terrific shot blocker, but you know, he's got the size and athleticism to be that bit of a shot blocker and to be a threat there. So I can see the vision there. And the issue is I see the vision a lot more existent for Danny Wolf and Newell, especially like later in the draft, than I do see for Derek Queen at number 9. So I can be sold on this. I can see this vision. I can see the Raptors doing this. But really, the problem will be, like, I think it costs a lot to trade up, hence why I was against the Raptors trading up, because I'm like, you have to trade a lot to move up. And I'm not sure other teams are going to be willing to do that. I'm not sure the teams see something they desperately want at 9 so that they would want to make that move up. And you know, maybe it's not those two teams. Maybe somebody else gives away, like, the Spurs give away the 14th pick in a future first and move up to 9. Could that be something as well? Potentially. But if they're going to do that and they get a guy they like there, I would support it. But I think I'm still going to stick to my guns and say my expectation is the Raptors select 9th overall at the draft. Are they selecting for themselves or somebody else? I mean, probably for themselves. But I am Raptors select for themselves at number 9 and just take the best player available, even if it's not Malawash or not a center. We'll just have to kind of like wait and see what happens there. Stacking additional assets and getting a center they like, I support it. Yeah, I could support it. Yeah, Newell doesn't need the ball really to be that. No, I like Newell. I think he's a good backup big. I think he brings that athleticism that would be interesting for the team to use. A good lob threat. This like Barnes has never really played with that. It'd be interesting. Would I do IQ plus number 9 for Garland? How much of a upgrade is Garland to Quickly? I know it's an upgrade. How much of an upgrade? Like how much are we? How much better are the Raptors with Quickly, with Garland compared to Quickly? I don't think it's enough to say that it's worth trading the 9th pick. You know. I like Noah Isonge. I like him. I'd be happy with him at 9. Garland healthy, right contact is fringe all NBA. I mean, healthy Garland is all-star caliber, as evidenced by an all-star appearance. um, how? What does a healthy Immanuel Quickley season look like as a point guard? Now he's got a year and a half of that position under his belt. What does the healthy Immanuel Quickley season look like? Probably not an all-star. But like if he's getting, because like his minutes were down this year. If he's getting 34 minutes, like what was it per 36? 22. Immanuel Quickley is probably a 20-point per game player. I think in the right context, he's averaging 8 assists, 4 rebounds at least, 28 and like 4.5, could we say? Bothering us says 22, 8, and 5. I'm thinking the upper percentile of what he could do. I don't think that's impossible. Tough to do it with like, Barnes and Ingram usage. But I think like this is a guy who could average 28 and 4 is 28 and 4 is not like that is an extremely realistic season for Quickley. And he would be able to do that on like 43% shooting and like 39% shooting from 3. That's really good. And again, I'm not sure if it's worth giving away a first-round pick to upgrade that to Garland. He averaged 7.5 assists. I don't know. I think like a realistic season for Quickley next year is like 20. No, I'll say 19, 7.5, 4.2, 4.3. I'm not disputing that Garland is better. It's just I think Quickley's contract will look good down the line. I think Garland is going to take a fat raise when his next contract comes around. I don't think it's worth sacrificing more assets to make that upgrade. That's my stance on this. Holy fuck, it's 6:55. What the hell? We have been this is flown by. My goodness, this is fun. What team can you generally see taking him out for 9? Like Wizards could do it. Move Sar to the 4. Pelicans could do it. Tandem big with Yves Missy. Rotate in and out. Brooklyn could do it and trade Claxton or make Miles the backup. Like I can see all 3 teams doing it ahead of us. That's the issue. Gotta move like OKC and gain depth. Okay, yeah. A lot of you have talked about like move like OKC and gain depth. Okay, OKC had so many draft picks that like even when they made misses, it didn't matter. Oh, huge miss on Ousmane Dieng. Fuck, who cares? Like the team is still nasty. Huge miss on Poku. Who cares? They have so many other picks. They were allowed to make misses, and also like they happened to trade for the freaking NBA MVP. So like mistaken with all this OKC depth, and I'm not saying it doesn't matter because like it has been helpful for sure. Mistaken by this is how many draft picks they had and how much they traded away to get those draft picks. Incredible front office work to do that. Find enough hits in the draft, get enough lottery luck, and also just happen to have traded for the NBA MVP. So yes, the depth has helped, but also they have the literal best player in the entire They have the best player in basketball this season on their team as well. So like you do need depth, but you also kind of need upper end talent too, right? I don't think Cleveland trade gone from the point. Yeah, I don't think Cleveland really do it anyway either. That's a good point though. Depth is nice, I agree, but also top end talent might be nicer. Who knows? There's so many different ways to win a championship. You think it's depth until like a big three wins it. Then you think it's big three until depth wins it. Then you think it's just like two really good players and then really good role play. Like there's a lot of formulas to win a championship. There's no one formula. You don't plug in the numbers and formula outputs NBA championship. Phoenix, you mentioned this post earlier. Raps are now plus 400 to land Kevin Durant. Okay, this is the problem with this post. This is a problem. Like, they're plus 400, but they're third favorites. I did a full video on this today, so I'm not going to extend this topic very much. But this is 20% chance, 20% chance, 20% chance, according to the plus 400. 20% chance, 20% chance, 20% chance, 22.5% chance, 22.5% chance. All five of these teams equal about 105% chance. There are 24 other teams not accounted for in this post. There is so much vig in this market that it is not providing an accurate assessment of the probabilities of Kevin Durant getting traded. I did a full video on this today. I encourage you to watch it to understand it a bit more. Watch that video, please. I explain why the odds associated do not accurately reflect the chance of a team landing a player. The order is interesting because Raptors are third on the list, but it still doesn't seem very likely they'll get him. But what a reporter will do who is not in tune with gambling, they will look at that. And I'm not blaming them because it's a good story. I'm not blaming like that original post there because it drums up engagement. No issue with that. I'm just saying it plays on people who don't understand gambling concepts well enough to understand why the plus 400 doesn't actually equal 20%. Because a reporter will look at that and again, I'm naming somebody. I'm not putting them down for doing this. I'm not saying that it's wrong for them to do this. I think it's good content. They should continue to do this. And maybe they don't know any better. But somebody like Aaron Ben Rose, who has I'm pretty sure he's got Bovada in his pocket because he posts a lot of Bovada odds, Bovada Sportsbook odds. He'll see that Bovada plus 400 for the Raptors to get Kevin Durant. And he'll go plus 400. This is a fact. Plus 400 equals 20% implied probability, which is not wrong. He's reporting it accurately. However, if you understood the market more, you would know that 20%, it probably would be more like 7-8%. I would estimate. Again, I've named people specifically. I think this is good content. I think these people don't understand. I think even if they do understand it, it's good content and it gets so much engagement. But like when I see the Raptors are plus 400 to get Ja Morant, it's like, okay, yes, but 20%, sure. But there's so many other factors not being considered here. Ja Morant probably isn't even going to get traded in the first place. Not that this means much. Not that there's going to be... not that this means much, but Ja himself said he's not leaving. That doesn't mean much, because he could still get traded. But anyways, rant. Just go watch the full video. 15 minutes of me explaining it instead of me doing it here. All right. What else do we got today? All right. Well, I just wanted to finish off. I like to do a tier list here. I wanted to go through every player the Raptors have been reported to have interest in trading for. And I want to rank them on how desirable they are from my perspective for the Raptors to get them. So, on my list, and if you have others, please enlighten me to any other player you want to put on this tier list. I've got Malik Monk, who is a late addition today. Cam Johnson, John Morant, Kevin Durant, Darius Garland, Giannis, LaMelo Ball, and Trae Young. If you have any other player you would like added to this list and added to this tier list, please let me know, and I will do it. S tier means the most desirable for a trade. D tier means the least desirable for a trade. And I'm also going to do this based on how much the Raptors would have to give up in order to make this trade. All right? All right, we got a couple names here. Let's make some late additions. We got Nick Claxton. Amir Coffey. I'm not putting Amir Coffey in. Claxton, I'll put in. I have seen some Jared Allen stuff as well. All right, let's add these guys in just for a little bit of fun. Claxton and Amir Coffey. What am I doing? Jared Allen. I added Cam Johnson's in there already. Colin Sexton. All right. I'll humor you. I'll put in, even though I don't think I haven't seen much noise around Colin Sexton. I will put in Colin Sexton. All right. Last chance, or else we're just gonna roll with what we got here. Trae Young's in there. Trae Young's in there. Sabonis, you know what? I have seen some Sabonis links. Trey Murphy. Okay, I've seen Trey Murphy as well. These are good. Sorry, I have to get their photos ready, which is why it's taking a sec. 1 sec. On with the video. On with the stream in just a minute. God, could you imagine Trey Murphy? Spoiler, could you imagine Trey Murphy? So a few of these guys I haven't explored, like, the logistics of the trades. You have to, like, bear with my guesses on the spot. I'm not putting in Joel Embiid. That I'm not going to do. All right, I think we're where we are. Joel Embiid, I don't think is happening. All right. All right, we're going to roll with this. So we've added in Trey Murphy, Domantas Sabonis, Colin Sexton, Jared Allen, and Nick Claxton. All right. Gotta go in this order here. Malik Monk. I'm a big fan of Malik Monk. I don't really see a super clean pathway to making this happen. If it's RJ and like a first, I think Malik Monk is almost. This is a weird conversation to have because I think Malik Monk is almost as talented as RJ Barrett as a basketball player, but I think Malik Monk is much more valuable to winning. I struggled to see RJ Barrett in his current state. I struggle to see him like a winning team. Like I look at the NBA Finals and think, yeah, maybe the Pacers could do it because their style of offense. But I struggle to see a lot of teams having RJ Barrett and getting the most out of him and that having an impact on winning. Because he has to be so ball dominant, but he's not quite good enough to be as ball dominant as he needs to be effective as he could be. If that makes sense in a confusing way. Does it make sense? He needs the ball a lot to be really good. If he has the ball a lot, I don't think the team is going to be as good as they can be. Malik Monk. I love Malik Monk. Amazing secondary ball handler. Has improved so much as a passer this season. Got his assist numbers up. Great shooter. If it's Barrett to pick, that makes the Raptors better. Probably B. I really like Malik Monk. Like S tier asset. B tier in terms of like how much we have to give up. Is he A tier? Playmaking, spacing. He's already on this team, but he's been hurt. If he's healthy, if he's healthy, he makes us a lot better, I think. I'll put him A. Cam Johnson. Probably same. RJ Barrett. Maybe would it be what? RJ Barrett, pick 9 for pick 19, pick 25 in Cam Johnson. Just my guess. That sort of range. Cam Johnson's shooting makes us better. He's poo defensively. I mean, RJ Barrett ain't the best either. Are they going to continue to improve? He's still young. Be interesting to see where he's at. I agree, but same could kind of be said for Malik Monk, who I don't think is much older than him. Malik Monk's got to be like 27. Malik Monk's 27. Prime years of Malik Monk, intriguing. Cam Johnson, a bit older. I think B. I think the spacing is helpful. He has hurt a lot too. I think B is fair. John Morant. John Morant's a weird one because if we're trading for John Morant, we're trading Emmanuel quickly and like a bunch of picks probably. There's always like the slight concern of, is he gonna wave a gun on Instagram Live and get suspended for a year? That's not a concern, but ignoring that. The biggest issue with this Raptors roster right now is spacing. John Morant makes that worse. So to like shell out your assets to get John Morant, I don't love it. So for me, I'm probably C2 there. I really like John Morant. I just don't think he works well with Ingram and Barnes. So I think you're trading quickly to get him. And if you trade quickly, you're losing like 8 threes taken a game there and replacing it with like, what is it, like 3 for John Morant, probably? Not like a super good shooter as well. I don't know. RJ might need a new team to break out like Larry Markkinen did. But would RJ Barrett break out on a good team? Like if RJ went to, like I think he has broken out with the Raptors, but they also haven't been a playoff team for back-to-back seasons. Could RJ Barrett go to a playoff team and break out? I don't think so. Could he go to like the Utah Jazz? Let's be respectful. Like, could he go to Brooklyn? Like, would Brooklyn not be a great spot? Like, they're kind of tanking. He just gets to do whatever and like lead the team. Could he could RJ Barrett absolutely be an all-star there? Yeah, I think so. But like, could he do that in a winning situation? I don't know. Weird tweener where he's not good enough off ball or on ball. Yeah, he's really good. It's just the style of play. I don't know. Kevin Durant up next. We talked about it on stream. If it's like RJ, pick 9, and Pirtle, that's like, that's not for Kevin Durant, not a lot. But I'm also concerned about. I'm not concerned about the contract because they're not going to trade for him unless they have like assurance he's going to re-sign. But he's got health concerns. How good is he going? How long can he stay this good? And I don't even think that trade gets it done. I think you're giving away probably 3 firsts. It might only be 2, but even then, I am concerned about Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant's age, and how much Raptors give up. Ultimately, in the end, I'm just like, holy fuck, Kevin Durant as a Raptor would be really fun to see how that goes. So it's enough for me to put him B. But concerns. I'm not going to put him S, Phoenix. As Rosie, IQ, and RG on a real winning team. I can see quickly, because I think there is an Emmanuel Quickly that averages like 8 assists per game and takes like 8 to 10 threes a game and hits like 38% of them and has enough like secondary ball creators that like maybe some of the point guard concerns, if you will, are masked a bit. I see it with Quickly. Darius Garland up next, and hey, it'd be Quickly that's traded from him. So it'd be like, let's say like Quickly and pick number 9. I don't even know if Cleveland would do that. I said it earlier. I think Garland, healthy Garland's an all-star player. We already talked about it. I don't want to rehash this too much. I don't think Garland is enough of an upgrade to justify trading Quickly and other stuff, like the 9th overall pick. Garland is better. Is he better enough to warrant trading Quickly and other assets? To me, no. I think Garland would be great on the Raptors, so I'll put him B. I'm just not sold on it being worth it for the Raptors. Giannis, S. That is a top 3 player in the world. I'm willing to figure it out after. I'm ready. I'm all in. Get Giannis. Find a way to make a team happen here. Easier said than done. It's a very big cop-out answer from me. Oh, just figure it out later. But I think you can make this trade without crippling the team, and he makes them so much better. And that is immediate contender. Immediate contender. Giannis, I'm all in. I've said it a lot. Trae Young, A. Close to S. If he wasn't so bad defensively, S. But I would trade a lot for Trae Young because his playmaking with like Barnes and Ingram, holy shit. The way he dragged the Hawks to the play-in tournament this year, that team had no business being that high up in the standings. He dragged them there. He is entering like criminally underrated territory. Garland better than him. What are we talking about? That is absurd. That is absurd. Trae Young is on his own with this team. Like, Jalen Johnson got hurt. That should have been curtains for this Hawks team. Jalen Johnson got hurt. They sold at the deadline, and they still went over their preseason win total by half a game. But still. No, it was more than... Wasn't it more? Was it 35 and a half? It was 39 and a half. They won 40 games. Whatever it was. They won 40 games. They went either well over or half a game over the preseason. Trae Young dragged them there. The spacing, the scoring, the passing, everything. He'd be excellent next to Jakob Poeltl. Is he S tier or what? Nah, the only issue is, like, fit-wise, we wouldn't have any guards who could defend, really. You could put Abaji there. You probably get away with Abaji. Just sitting in the corner on offense, hitting 40% of his shots there. S. You know what? Fuck it. S tier. S tier. I love Trae Young. LaMelo Ball, a lot of the same things I like about Trae Young, just not quite as good. A tier. I don't think Charlotte want to trade him anyways, though. And he's injured more. But I like LaMelo Ball. Trey Murphy. Ooh, boy. What's Trey Murphy worth, guys? Let's be honest. What is he worth? He's really good, okay? He's a good defender. He's a very good shooter, and he does even more than that on offense. Trey Murphy is very good and would be very good on a very good team. I think a lot of teams would be looking at Trey Murphy. How good is Trey Murphy? How much is Trey Murphy worth? I look at Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane got 4. They overpaid. But, I think worth the 9th pick in Grady, I'd say. I think we're too low here. I think the Pelicans one day are getting, 3 firsts for him. I don't think the Bane package of, 4 picks... But also, we think about, we say 4 picks, but also, did they have to pay one of those picks to get off of the KCP contract? Maybe they did. Because KCP was on a bad contract. So, in, a value sense, did they actually just give away 3 picks? And if that's the case, did it actually make sense as 3 picks? You think RJ Grady pick 39. That doesn't do it. RJ doesn't do it. You think RJ's too much. Wow. I think when the Pelicans eventually trade Trey Murphy, there is at least 3 first-round picks coming their way. So if it's RJ and 3 picks, that is a lot. But, man, Trey Murphy makes you so much better. That's hefty. The fact that it's 3 picks makes you want to say B tier, but that is an A tier pickup. That might be an S tier level pickup. What's his contract? Is Bronny available? That's funny. Trey Murphy contract. What is it? 28 mil? Yeah, 28 average. How did I know that? 4 years of Trey Murphy, and he's only going to go up to 31. Yeah. We're going to do A tier, y'all. I think when Raptors fans talked about OG Anunoby being worth 3 first-round picks, people were like, what the fuck are you talking about? I think this is how you guys need to start seeing Trey Murphy. I don't know if I'd trade Ingram for him, but I think he's worth 3 first-round picks, and I think I'm still willing to say A tier for that. That is an S tier asset, though. Would love Trey Murphy. All right, enough on Trey Murphy. Domantas Sabonis. Phoenix put it really well in chat earlier today. He said, ceiling capper. A big who is a really good offensive hub, but isn't a good defender and isn't a floor spacer. I would be a little upset to get Domantas Sabonis. I'd be a little upset. I'd be really upset. I think if you get Sabonis, you could get him pretty cheap, though. I think the Kings would be willing to go, part ways low end. So you're not giving away a lot. Hence why he's C instead of D. I don't want him, though. Colin Sexton, if you could get a cut price deal, Colin Sexton's really good. Colin Sexton, if he didn't play in Utah, would be a lot more popular because he flies very hard under the radar. If you can get a cheap deal in place here, I honestly would go into A tier. He's a pretty efficient player, good scorer. I think he can play a role as a lead handler with a second unit. I think he could even play as a secondary scorer, not a secondary, like an ancillary piece to your offense. He can play the more subdued, low usage role. He can play the higher up, high usage role. And I think he's good in both of those areas. I think Colin Sexton's underrated, and I think a good team will get him cheap one day, have him off their bench, and people will be like, holy shit, how did they get Colin Sexton so cheap? Colin Sexton. Jared Allen. Jared Allen's really good. What would this trade have to be? This is a pretty unrealistic one. Would you trade Pirtle? But I feel like if Allen's better than Pirtle, I think. But I think if you traded Pirtle, if they're trading Allen, they don't want a big anymore. So they don't really want Pirtle back. Pretty much every trade is just RJ Barrett and stuff. I think this is a bad fit. I don't really see how this trade works out. C tier. Claxton. I think Pirtle's better than Claxton. I don't really want Claxton. I think Pirtle's a better defender. As much as Claxton's had DPOY credibility a couple years ago. I think Pirtle is the better defender. I think Pirtle's a better offensive player. If anything, Claxton might be slightly better defensively because he's more athletic. But on offense, Pirtle's better. I think Pirtle's a better player. I don't see a need to make this trade. I don't really understand why so many guys are enamored with him. I like Claxton. I just think Pirtle's better. I like Allen a lot. I like Claxton a lot. I just think Sabonis should probably be here then. I don't like Sabonis. I think these players are good. I think John Morant's good, bad fit. I think Claxton's good, we have better. I think Allen's good, I just don't see a good trade there. So I think this is the list. Huge ceiling raisers. Big time ceiling raisers. Especially maybe cheaper end for Monk and Sexton. Expensive for Murphy, but man, would he be amazing. KD, I'm concerned about the age. Johnson, I don't think does enough or Garland enough to justify how much you have to give up to get them. And I think that's where we're at. What do we think? 722. God, you guys entertaining me today. Just flown by this stream. I feel like Melo's S tier. Giannis a God tier. I could see Melo S tier. I worry a little bit about his seriousness. You know what I mean? He's kind of in that category of unserious basketball player. Will he stop taking bad shots because he's on a good team now or a better team? I think he would, but the seed of doubt lingers. Injury history is not good. So I think a healthy Melo would be S tier. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. God, would that be a nice pickup? Woo-wee. Help defense 4. Good shooter. I mean, he's a good self creator. He's turning into good shooter. Wow. Yeah, Jaren Jackson would be nice, but I don't think that's happening. I don't know. Is LaMelo a product of the fact he's at an unserious organization like Charlotte, or is it an unserious organization because of LaMelo? Probably a blend, but like how far along the spectrum is it? LaMelo's fault, Charlotte's fault. You know, LaMelo's fault. Are we on this half, or are we in Charlotte's fault? I don't know. Sexton would be great. I seriously think Sexton is underrated. Maybe it's because he's been a staple on my fantasy team for back-to-back seasons. But maybe that's why I'm more locked into how good he is. But I've had other friends who talk to me about him and say, like, yeah, this guy's for real. I mean, guys, 48% from the field, 40% from 3 on a bad team, 18 points per game. Like, yeah, the playmaking's down, but, like, this is a shooting guard. Could you imagine this as our 2 guard? As much as you may love Barrett, let's be serious here. We improve by a substantial degree 1-to-1 Sexton for Barrett. Am I wrong? You get like similar point level production with way better efficiency, especially from 3. Like it's not just like the 40%. It's not like Barrett's like, you know, you're going from 35% from 3 to like high 30s, right? For Sexton. But like the volume is important. And the caliber of 3-point attempts are important as well. And the spacing is important. Like, if RJ Barrett's wide open, hits 35%, yeah, that's cool. That's good. But, like, Sexton's not wide open and he's making 40%. You know? I think Sexton's really good. Brandon Miller is good as well. Yeah. They just don't really have a good team there. Markin is an interesting one. He's kind of fallen off the... You know, the All-NBA wagon a little bit. Oh, he didn't make All-NBA that year. He should have. He should have. How much of this is him or how much of this is Utah suck? Markin is nice because he can be the off-ball guy, I think, on a good team. I thought for a while, Oklahoma should have gotten him. Instead of Hartenstein. But Hartenstein made sense. It was just like, before they got Hartenstein, I was like, Chet, 5, Markkanen 4. I don't know. All right, last little bit here. What do we think, guys? Anything else we want to dive into here? Should we trade Jaren Jackson? He'd be upgrading Jakob Poeltl. Oh, you think trade for Jaren Jackson to replace Poeltl? I mean, I'm thinking... Jaren Jackson plays next to Poeltl. I'm thinking we don't get scored on because Jaren Jackson is a spacer. Like think about Jaren Jackson next to Steven Adams. Like that was amazing defensively for both of them. So imagine having a better Steven Adams in Jakob Poeltl and Jaren Jackson. That's what I'm thinking. Imagine how many that team would get so many offensive rebounds. Like we don't even need like just. Whoever, just throw me on the court, just huck threes. They're going to get the rebounds. We're going to get so many second chance points. We're not going to allow points in the paint. What a team that would be. You just can't really make that happen. Anyways, guys, today, big day, guys. Canada soccer, Gold Cup begins. They play against Honduras. Definitely, Raptors are favored here. Definitely favored. I'm trying to see the odds here, but Honduras is pesky. They are no shove over. But big chance to open the group stage with a win here for Canada. I'm pumped. I'm not pumped that the game kicks off at 10:30. Did I say Raptors? I meant Canada. Trying to find the odds on this. But it's Gold Cup. I think Canada. I truly believe Canada have the best team in this tournament. I believe it. I think they're better than Mexico. They're better than the U.S. They're not favored of both of them. Mexico and U.S. are tied favorites. I think Canada's better than both of them, especially with the squads they brought to this. I'm pumped. Gold Cup tonight, 10:30 p.m. Canada, big favorites. Minus 275 over Honduras. Come on. Open the tournament with a win. Let's fucking go win a trophy. First time since 2000. I think they're good enough. Is Messi and Ronaldo going to play in the World Cup next year? Yes. If I'm the Raps, I'd like to see how our roster goes next year. The Bucks don't want to give up on Giannis, but it's Giannis' decision. If Giannis asks to leave and he wants to go to the Raptors, you make that trade. I'm sorry. I also am curious to see how the season goes with the team as is, but I'm also even more curious to see how the team looks with Giannis. Geez, the Raptors, I just saw on Discord, somebody sent in Pirtle, Quickly, Barrett, and the 9th pick. Man. That's too much. For an aging KD. I guess the USA loses to Panama again. The US didn't bring, like, that elite of a roster to this thing. I think Canada have the best team, man. I'm pumped. Let's fucking go win it. Come on. We're good enough to do it. Promise David. Jonathan David. 2 goal scorers. We got quality midfielders. I don't know if Eustachio actually went. Which would be a shame. But Saliba is great. Let me see. Kone is great. Defensively, they've got Cornelius, Fortunato Bombito, but Luke de Fougerolles, I don't know how to say his name. He was exceptional in the Canadian Shield tournament, which was at BMO Field last week I went to. He was so good in that. I trust him next to Cornelius. We've got Rich de Rea. Fortunately, no Alistair Johnson, but Seager is pretty good. Tajon was excellent at the Canadian Shield. Tatum Buchanan. Schaffelberg provides enough in the wing. Eustachio did travel. We've got quality on this team. Saliba, Eustachio, Kone on the wing. Schaffelberg's fine. Ali Ahmed can also do a job there, but Tajon Buchanan's fantastic. Strikers, Jonathan David, Promise David are good. Kyle Aaron off the bench. Hopefully Daniel Jebison doesn't even sniff the field. But that's a quality team. That's the best team in the tournament. Let's go win the Gold Cup. I'm excited for Game 1. Hopefully they get a result. Let's go, everybody. All right, next week. Streams. I'll probably be live here Tuesday. We'll preview the draft. I'll be live Wednesday for the first round. I'll be live Thursday for the second round. I'll have a ton of videos coming at you in between as well. I'm excited. I think you should get yourself excited as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Have a good rest of your night. Let's go Raptors.